What are we doing? Oh, okay. Testing, testing. One, two, three. Can everybody hear me? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Testing, testing. One, two, three. That delay is not that bad. Hi, Neko Neko. How are you? What am I looking for? I'm actually not very sure. Hi. This is Lydia. I don't think I've ever seen you before, or if I have, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. But welcome. Hi, Megan. How are you guys doing today? Oh my gosh. Okay. I got some snackaroos with me so that I can well, snack a roo. Cause y'all know how I be, right? Randomly getting hungry in the middle of live sessions, especially today because I didn't finish work until about 15 minutes ago. So yeah. Hey Jazz, nice to see you again. So I've got my frozen grapes, as promised. Hopefully you guys brought yours for those who are following me in this trend. But I have some frosted animal crackers and some salted cashews. But then I also have my very own popsicle used created by using these frozen grapes. So it was frozen grapes with lemon juice, honey, and water. And so this is the popsicle. The other ones are strawberry with like grape bites in them. But yeah, I have this, which I'm gonna start with because it's, gonna melt. So you said you're a listener. You just listened. Ah, okay. You just finished Thrice Married to a Salted Fish. It was amazing. Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, I'm loving it thus far. I haven't found myself getting bored yet because I heard some people say that, like, it's a great story. They loved it. And they're like, but there are some slow moments and it was kind of boring. And I'm like, where? I mean, we still have a little under half of the book to go, but I'm like, where? I'm enjoying all of it. So, but yeah. Hey, Cookielicious. So far, the only difficult thing has been like getting this part off. So, y'all are gonna watch me. Yeah, because it won't let me just pull it right out. It's snug. It's really snug in there. Okay. So, just make sure I got it around all the. And then I'm just gonna like, eh. This is the hard part. I had one earlier. I don't know why I'm trying to eat another, but it's healthy. So, like, but yeah, instead of buying, what is it, Outshine, for anyone who knows about those, I decided, let me try to make them on my own. I don't know, maybe I need less water. Oh, there we go. I don't know. I didn't use a recipe. I just went with, what felt right. But here you go. You guys can see? Yep. Homemade popsicle. Very exciting. And it tastes really good. It tastes just like what I buy from the grocery store, minus one it not minus one ingredient. It tastes just like what I got from the grocery store, and I used different ingredients except for like the lemon juice and what ingredient that they have? I think probably to help everything stick together better that I didn't use, but here it is. So, I said nom nom. Here you go. All right. I hope you like it. So there's a little bit of your my shenanigans last night. Let me see if I missed anything. No, I didn't. It is yummy. I think I can stand to use less water. Just a little, not because of taste, but because of texture. Because it's getting a little bit of the freeze pop feeling. I want it to be a little less of that and more of the consistency of the inside of the grapes. So, um, I read the last two chapters last night, and I actually really wanted to keep reading, but I have to follow my own rules because if I keep reading and just like binge this whole thing, I feel like it's going to be really bad for me when it comes to like coming onto these live sessions and talking about the chapters in little bits because the chapters won't be as fresh in my mind. And not only that, it would be more difficult to make sure I'm not speaking ahead and spoiling anything, even though I think a lot of you have listened like or read all of it already. Um, but yeah, you said this yellow shirt is pretty. Thank you. Yeah, I usually wear it with leggings because it's like really long. I don't have leggings on right now, and I'm not gonna show you guys my legs, but it's really long and it like hangs low on both sides and curves up in the middle. And this hood is kind of like I can either have it like this. Oh, I'm disappearing. Like this. Or it could, just be in the back or in the front. Very versatile. As y'all see, I like fun clothes. So, he said, yeah, very elegant. You woke up just in time. Oh, you were gonna nap through it? Mm, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If you napped, it would have been fine. Um, yeah, I think I'm just gonna stall for a couple more minutes until I think we've got everyone here, and then we're just gonna get started. Hmm. What have you guys been up to? I'd love to hear what y'all been doing. Because sometimes it feels weird to just talk about myself. What is this? Oops. All I did was copy and paste. Psh, whatever. And no one wants to tell me what they're up to? It's fine. Y'all don't have to. Y'all don't have to. Let me go ahead. I mean, I know Musical Marauder just woke from a nap. Mostly reading. Fair trade. Oh, I'm currently reading, I think I mentioned it already before. I am still reading Case File Compendium Volume 1. I finished chapter 19 yesterday with some guy on YouTube. Was it Easy Soup or something like that? I can't remember his name. Hold on. E-Soup. Why did I say easy? Yeah, with E-Soup. Um, does my size say it all? Hmm. You're sick? No. Get well soon, Jazz. Working in college, not getting any time to read, but tonight you will read QJJ and doze off. It's a good choice of read. I just read the final two chapters for today's video this morning. I wanted to read them yesterday, but I was literally moving nonstop yesterday and I was exhausted. So, you were doing a little running around before this. Yeah. You're on volume 6 of TGCF. Okay. You've been flying through those, I think. You're not ready for this. Yeah. You're almost done. I'm trying to think about if I ever do listen to TGCF again. I mean, read it again. If I'll listen to Brittany or Kichter. I haven't decided yet. So, but that's if I re-listen to it because I don't know. I know I'm not gonna like read it with my eyes. It'll have to be with my ears. You're currently running errands. Don't know why I said it that way, but I did. Also, full disclaimer, I'm sleepy. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I am very much sleepy. So we'll see how today goes. But so yes, I am reading Case File Compendium and I understand things, but like I feel like every other chapter or so, I'm just like, what is going on? And actually, Esup says it every time I'm reading. I mean, he's reading. He's like, what's going on? What's happening? And I'm like, yes, this is exactly how I feel. What what's happening? What's going on? But I don't feel good about that though. I think he's excited because he's like, what's going on? I want to know. Da, 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 da. And then I'm just like, what's going on? I don't like this. This is too much. But it's like part interesting, part not interesting. And I don't know which percentage is more. It's not 50-50. I'm not even sure it's 40-60, but I don't know what belongs to 40 and 60. I feel like it just kind of teeter totters. And I'm just like, I'm trying to make it through the end of the book. Like, just to see. We'll see. I will say a prediction that he has, which I don't know, because I know he's only made it to volume two, is that it's going to be some kind of like sci-fi fantasy. And I was just like, well, if that's the case, I don't know. I don't know if I should try to continue. So, anyway, I'm going to finish volume one. And depending on how I feel, I'll go to volume two. But I'm not too pressed about it. If I don't like volume one, I'm just not going to continue. Because I know on TikTok, there are a couple people who've been trying to like encourage me to read it and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, it gets better after. No, I think someone told me volume two absolutely sucks. But then volume three is amazing. And then someone else is like, the first five volumes suck. And I'm like, I am not about to keep reading things that suck to get to the good part. Like I want to enjoy the whole thing. What are we saying? So I'm like, well, I might not make it to the good part because I'm not going to make myself suffer until I get to the fun. Nevertheless, I'm continuing on. Part of it doesn't have to do, because I see your comment, Cookielicious, about keep reading to understand. I think some of it also has to do with just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about anyone in this series. There are moments that are like, aw, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't really care about anyone. And I've made it, what, halfway through, a little over halfway through. And then sometimes these random characters are just coming up to have their little moment and then they go away. And I'm just like, okay, am I being impatient or what? But I know it's not that because, I mean, I'm reading this, what we're reviewing today. I'm reading QJJ and I'm totally patient on those. So it just might not be my thing. But I am truly trying to give it a fair shot. So, yeah. After this volume, I think it's safe for me to say for sure that like if anyone requests for me to read Bab, the answer is gonna be no. Volume one, uh, he said until the ending of the novel onward, it got very interesting. Mm. Murder mystery. Mm. Hmm. I definitely am getting some Arha vibes, just as far as like the constant. What is his name? Huyu constantly having Tashenju in thoughts. Like, I want to tie him up and do this and do that and do that. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I hate him. I hate him. I'm like, okay, I got it. Got it. Definitely, definitely meat bun. I hate this person, but like I want to tie them up and see what they look like in this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. You sure you hate them? Also, I'm just gonna put it out there because it's clearly a trend from all of her series. But Meat Bun just needs to go ahead and write an Omega verse. Like for real, because I'm telling you, if I get one more sentence about someone's scent, I'm just I'm like, why are we just putting it there? Like, oh my gosh. But okay, it's nice to know that it's a murder mystery. I don't think I've ever, have I? I don't think I've ever read murder mystery before. Watched them, sure. Really liked one in particular that I can't think of. That was a C drama. Oh man, I'm not gonna pull up my list. But as far as reading a murder mystery, I don't know how I feel about that. But we haven't even, I don't know. We haven't gotten to any of that stuff yet. You enjoyed every volume a lot. Okay, that's good to hear. You're like the first person I've heard that when they talk about individual novels, I mean volumes, to say that they liked all the volumes. No, you also love sci-fi. Mm. Yeah, I guess I haven't even really gotten to the sci-fi stuff yet, so I'm fine. Never read them? Question mark. Like on my channel, you'll read MDZS. What did I drop into? Oh, you read MDZS. I did. What about it? I won't be reading that on my channel either. But yeah. When I say never read them, I mean I'm not ever gonna read them on my channel. Like not on YouTube, also not as a Patreon exclusive. And yes, I read MDZS, but not reading that on my platforms. Yes, please write an Omega verse. Oh, you're saying that. Oh, yeah, that is true. It's been so long since I read it. I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, that's a murder mystery. And now that I think about it, I think I liked it just because it was novel for me it was my first Danmei read. But when I think about the whole thing and like going back to it, there were a lot of things that I did not enjoy when it came to reading MDZS. So if that says anything. Speaking of C dramas, a good one is How Dare You, currently airing if anyone needs the rec. Ah, two transmigrators? Whoa. How to like MDZS? I guess I just said it. Yeah. When I first read it, actually, let me say this. I came across The Untamed first. Watched that, loved it so much that I watched it 3 times. Then I found out it was a book series, and I was like, well, the book's got to be better. So overall, overall, the book is always better. But I'll be honest, I hated reading all those flashbacks. If there is one thing that I realize when it comes to MXTX is that I am not a fan of reading her flashbacks. So every time we went back into the past, I was like, fuck. Like, I did not enjoy it at all. And then when we get to volume 5, I was good with everything except the extras. I didn't like the MDZS extras at all. Like, not one little bit. Especially when I got to certain scenes with incense burners. Trying not to say too much for anyone who hasn't read it. One of the incense burner dreamy things in particular really disturbed me. And I was just like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like it at all. And I tried like reading it again and then reading it again from like the official version to like the fan translation. I was like, yeah, I just don't like this. I don't think I do. And so, yeah, it was fine. Now looking back, I guess I'd probably rate it a 3 out of 5, which I know would hurt some people's hearts because they love MDZS so much, but I'm gonna just be honest. You said serves you right for dropping in mid sentence. Look, let me see. I've missed comments while I've been chatting away. Hold on. Trying to finish silent reading as we speak. Another murder mystery. Isn't that Priest? Oh. Peerless too. True. I guess I don't really think about like, oh, is this a murder mystery or not? Because, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Peerless is really good, though. Peerless is amazing. So, yeah. A lot of Dame borrow murder slash mystery skeleton. Um, you said you get it. How Dare You is good. Oh, people are asking where to watch it. Where to watch this show that was recommended. So if you can put that in the comments. Did I watch Tin Dance? Yes, of course I did. I watched it because y'all kept saying, watch it, watch it, watch it. I watched it into the new year, okay? So I'm going to finish this before I share my thoughts. Huh. Okay. As someone who has grown up loving dance movies, no matter what kind of dancing it was, ballroom dancing, ballet, crumping, a mixture of, two styles, all of that stuff, I was very unimpressed with the dancing for the most part. I'm being very critical. I know a lot of people really liked Tin Dance. And it started off very interesting to me, but I eventually got bored. Number one, because of the dancing. It's not that I think they necessarily did a bad job, but just in comparison to other movies I've seen with ballroom dancing and salsa and all those other styles, I felt like the choreography for the dances could have been better. Then when it comes to like the storyline and everything, it was fine. I think I got bored at some point and I was like, gosh, is this movie still going? But what I did find interesting was just this constant struggle of having to deal with being a better dancer, but not winning because of the color of someone's skin, because of where they're from. That was something that I found to be very interesting. And I also liked that the main character, because I don't remember these people's names, but I like how he still kept trying every time, regardless, no matter what, even though the result was the same. Just having that kind of tenacity, you don't see that in a lot of people, because after losing so many times, it's kind of just like, okay, what are we doing here? And then, even at the end when they are like, can you do the dance or whatever, then he's just like, okay, you guy whose name I don't remember, the Latina guy or whatever race he was, I don't remember. He was like, you come dance with me. And so they danced together. I did like that. Not necessarily the choreography, but I mean more so of them making a statement, dancing together and then like leaving out together. That was really cool. But yeah, honestly, overall I was bored. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't phenomenal. But again, when it comes to dance movies, I'm very, very critical. So because I've seen some really, really good dance movies. So that was it. That was it on that. Both of them were very hot. I will say that much. So where was that question so I can pick up where I left off? I do love Meat Bun. And she has flashbackies, yes. But to me, Meat Bun's flashbackies, and I don't know why I'm calling them that, are written in a more interesting way. Any flashback that I've read from her, it felt right when reading them. Like, I don't know. But also, there's a difference between taking a chapter or a couple of chapters to flashback, compared to specifically like TGCF taking almost an entire novel to do a flashback. It's like, oh my gosh. um, and then I don't remember for MDZS because it was my first one, so I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. The way that Meat Bun writes her flashbacks, for me personally, I just favor them compared to the way that MXTX writes her flashbacks. You had the same journey into Danmei. Actually, the crazy thing is, I discovered Danmei via word of honor. We already did a whole video on how I accidentally stumbled across Don May, and I think you were there, Cookie. I could be wrong, but yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, just really briefly, I came across the trailer for The Untamed, and I was like, oh, hold on, this seems kind of gay. And at that point in time, I was at a point in my life where I believed that homosexuality was wrong. So I was like, I'm gonna try to stay away from that. Like, I've watched shows that may have a gay couple in it, but I was like, this looks like it may be like gay, like starring in the show. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna watch that. And then I came across Word of Honor and saw the trailer for that. And I tell y'all, the trailer that I watched did not show anything that would make it look like it was gay. And so I started watching the first episode, and I was like, okay, I don't know, but I'm gonna watch that second episode because it's good. Second episode comes around, I'm like, am I just like reading into things? And before I knew it, it was too late. It was too late. So it was too late. I watched all of Word of Honor, and then I was like, well, since I enjoyed that, I might as well watch The Untamed. So that's how that worked. Yeah, it was interesting. And then my whole world was turned around as far as my beliefs and challenging them and the struggles of challenging them, including sometimes the struggles I'm still dealing with. You know, um, you said you really don't like parallel timelines. Uh, I think you don't like parallel timelines, not flashbacks. Mm, what you mean? Because I don't like flashbacks. You didn't like that one either. Untamed was a start. I know Untamed was a start for a lot of people. Yeah. Ooh, it's 12:52 a.m. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The boys were pretty though. They were so pretty. And the acting was great. It was hard to turn away because at that point I was also, like I said, deep into my Chinese era. And so I was like, it's so good though. It was so good. Bye bye. Have a good night. Hmm. Yes. It's not flashbacks you don't like. Oh, thank you. It's story developing into different timelines, different storytelling techniques entirely. Nods, nods. Well, whatever you call it, I don't like it. That's all I'll say. Like, if I'm in the present, if you take me into the past, I need you to do it in a way that I will enjoy, but I also need you to not do it for too long because I'm in the present story. And then you cut off at a point where I want to know what's going to happen next. And you're like, let's go back to the past. And sometimes, which I don't agree with this, I'm just saying, but sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't we just start in the past and then go forward in the story? Like, actually, I think on one of the platforms, what was it? ITE? I don't remember, but they actually ordered it. I think they took away so many episodes, but they ordered it from the past and the Untamed, and then took it to the future rather than you know, whatever. So, you better than me. You watched the whole show and only by the chickens was head tilt. Oh, it was your intro as well. Nice. Nah, TGCF Donghua was the start for you. The Donghua is very, very good. It's like it gives gay. It's like it's giving gay. It's giving these two boys like each other. Yeah, I was just like, what am I looking at? Why can't I stop? It's just like, I was like, oh gosh. MXTX reading challenge. Read MDZF, TGCF in timeline order. Well, if someone can get the page numbers and volumes and everything for me, I might just try that out. Also, why don't I have this up to make sure that I don't accidentally, freeze and don't catch it? Although if it did, I probably still would miss it for some stupid reason. Ha! The animators did know their task. Oh gosh, that would be a fantastic challenge. As long as someone else is willing to put in the work to tell me where to start reading, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe. So, let's get started because, gosh, I did not expect to ramble for 30 minutes, but we did. You could never go through all that trauma. You love your fluff. Oh, if it's there to buffer the pain. So, NFS, did you bring your frozen grapes? Because I brought mine. And we're about to get started, y'all. Mmm. Look at it. Can you see the frozenness? I should have brought a regular grape so to compare it with. Okay. Hold on. We are on on chapter 15. You froze them. Didn't like them? Oh no! Wait. Did you get green grapes? Or did you get another color? This is also important. They out there melting towards the garbage. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that you didn't like them. I guess I'll enjoy them by myself then. So, we get to chapter 15. Ooh. Give me some. Cookielicious? I had some chocolate covered almonds, but I ate them all. Red grapes? Oh, see, that was your problem right there. What did I bring? I've been bringing green grapes. You ain't see me with no red. So you gotta try again. Okay. Frozen grapes and oranges at the ready. Oh my gosh, I totally bought some oranges. I bought some oranges so that I could freeze them and do the same thing. Like, I see you, Jazz. You see, we're on the same wavelength and we didn't even know it. That's really cool. So let's get to chapter 15. We have, yes, you're bad. Wanchung is gloomy again. I don't like gloomy Wanchung. I need him to not be gloomy. But we have here that he's gloomy. As well as his nether regions, his little peen is also gloomy. And I highlighted a comment here just because I thought it was it wasn't important, but it was important. And it's that all the servants residing in Lanfeng Pavilion liked their masters very much. Hi, Beanza! And I just wanted to highlight that because I know that at some point it was mentioned that Lady Liang had put all of the servants there except for Hualu. And I don't know if, some of the servants were replaced or not, but I thought, yes, gloomy peen. But I still thought that it was very nice to see that the servants like them. So even if they were put there by Lady Liang, maybe their loyalties will shift, and they won't be so quick to do something that she says, maybe not, or they'll tell. So I was just like, yay, I'm glad that they're all liking them. That's really, really cool. But yeah, so we have Wancheng and Tingyu also not talking to each other. And I'm like, what happened? Are we really not talking to each other? Is the audio acting up or is it just you? Oh no. Can you guys hear me? Boop, boop, beedle, bring. Can everybody else hear me fine, or is it just a personal problem? Kind of buzzing. Boop, boop, beedle, bring. Can everybody else hear me fine, or is it just a personal problem? Okay, I'm not hearing any problem. You can hear, audio's fine, you can hear. Okay, I don't know what's the problem. Are y'all listening on a Bluetooth or out of I don't know. I'm not even gonna try to act like I'm a tech person. Let's not pretend. Maybe go out and come back in. Okay. Hopefully y'all can get that squared away. I'll here contact my customer support. Text me. So they're not talking to each other, and I ain't gonna lie. I was just like, what are we doing? Why aren't y'all talking to each other? Like, what happened? Which, stupid. But I was like, what happened that y'all not talking to each other? But I also thought it was interesting that it said that Qing Yu wants Wan Cheng to be cheery again. Because he doesn't like seeing him in this gloomy fashion. He prefers his cheery self as much as he may seem annoyed with Wan Cheng's antics. So we move forward, and Qing Yu stumbles across this little book in the study called Travels in Lean On, to which he finds a weird note inside of it, and its handwriting looks like an imitation. And so he's like, hey, is this the Marques's book? And Huala was like, yeah, that's his. He read it a lot last year. He really wanted to go to Lean On to enjoy Jiangnan's scenery. And so as we continue, he's just looking at this handwriting and it feels like it's written by someone else trying to imitate a person. And he goes to talk to Wan Cheng about this, but then he hears Wan Cheng talking to his servants, a new servant as well. So I think, yeah, some of them were replaced. I forgot that just that fast. This is why I wrote all these notes. And he's talking about their purpose, which is to ease Qing Yu's burdens and make sure that he gets his inheritance when he passes away. Okay? Very dark, sad stuff. Even even Qing Yu was just kind of like to that. So I was like, this is sad. I hate how, I get it needs to be done, but I hate how just casually he talks about his death. I'm like, Wan Cheng, I don't want you to die. Okay? All right. So we move forward. You will send me Xiaokali. 谢谢你. Please. I would appreciate it. So we move forward, and finally, I realized that, oh yeah, of course, Wan Cheng is upset because Qing Yu didn't tell him about the side effects of the medicine. Obviously. That's why. Makes perfect sense. And I have something here highlighted. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm on the right page. Yes. When we get to page 171, it says, he was already impotent. So what could be the point of making this great beauty happy? What would be the point? He should leave something like that to the leading man who could have sex 7 times a day while he lays supine. And I was like, okay, the leading man, again, novel terminology / drama terminology, but also this whole have sex 7 times a day thing. I've harped on it in my mind. I don't know if I've ever said it out loud, but it's like, you know what? Again, can we just get to the part for sure where we know you're a transmigrator? Because that is the stereotypical thing about the way novels and stuff are written today, according to what I've heard, about the main character being able to go for hours and go multiple times and da 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 da. And so I'm just like, sir, when do we get to the part where we know you are, like, when it's confirmed that you're a transmigrator? You need to get that level on the larger notepad. Yes. I just Amazoned 7 times. 7 times. 7 means complete, at least in some cultures or whatever. But anyway, yeah, Amazon. Okay. So it's very helpful. So then we move forward, and Tingyu suggests that they become sworn brothers, hoping that it'll, cheer up Wancheng. Meanwhile, last time when Wancheng asked, you were like, no. So for you to bring it up again, it's kind of like, And then he's like, well, us being sworn brothers is not going to help. And then Tingyu is reassuring him also that the acupuncture can help get his thingy back up again, and he'll be just fine. So Wancheng really wants Tingyu to call him Guga. Right? So the prospect of hearing Guga helps him to perk up a bit. And he's like, yeah, let's be sworn brothers, but let's do it the right way. And what is the right way, you say? To prepare an incense burner, a dagger, some apricot blossom wine, and a few cushions, with a square table set under the eaves, arranged with everything neatly. And they are supposed to cut some of their blood and then smear it on each other's mouths. I'm gonna let y'all have that. I don't want any part of that. But it also seemed like Tingyu didn't want any part of that either, because he was like, we don't really need to do that to be sworn brothers. Like, we'll be okay. All right. The cutest little guy, and I love him so much. So really quickly, let's show you guys the picture, because of course there is a beautiful picture. Hold on, let me make sure I just push this down so I'm not too... I can't see past the screen to make sure it's on the screen. Okay. Isn't that cute? And look at him like chuckling. He's so adorable. Both of them are so adorable. I love them too much. But so we have them about to make their alliance and everything. They get it together. And of course, Wancheng calls him Tingyu Didi. But what does Tingyu do? Wancheng Xiong. Right, finally another picture. Took them ages to get us some. So it's in this moment, I was like, Tingyu, you think you slick? You were so terrible. And of course, Wancheng realizes he's been tricked. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So then once we go to the next scene, we are in the middle of the 4th month of the year. 4th month, AAA. And the rain has finally stopped. So now Tingyu can actually make that trip to the temple. And Wancheng's finally in a good mood again. And Tingyu says, well, he's finally in a good mood again for obvious reasons, because something's coming up. So then Tingyu is like, let me inspect it. Now, from a physician's point of view, I know that's what he's supposed to do. Okay. But like good denied. But I was just like, sir, you want to inspect your husband's penis? I was like, you know what? I can't say anything because, well, pre all of my chronic illnesses and stuff last year, I did the same thing. Like, not even gonna lie, I would just inspect my husband's penis for no reason. Like, just look at... So anyway, I just thought it was funny that he was like, let me inspect your penis. And then he was like, fine, if you want to do it, you got to move me. And he was like, okay, never mind. I'm not going to inspect your penis. So that was just a funny moment. Mari-chan, they still straight, you see. They are still straight. So obviously it's really truly only inspecting it for doctoral, physician, medicinal purposes to truly make sure that it's okay. I was like, I mean, when you look at it, what are you going to find? What do you think you're going to see by inspecting it? Or are you going to do something to, see if it'll... I was like, are you going to stroke it a little bit? Okay, I'm done. The point is, I was like, what would you be doing in inspecting this? So we move forward. Like I said, he's in a great mood and everything. And then we get to a little closer to the bottom of that page. And, when he's like, let me inspect it. And then, hold on. Yeah, because he even asked, what do you want to expect? And then he's just like, look, I've seen all of this before in studying medicine, so like you don't need to be shy. And then Wan Chung says, I think you're getting meaner and meaner. And then Qingyu says, didn't you say you like it when I do bad things? And he was like, true. So of course I'll oblige. I was just like, y'all are flirting and don't even realize it. Okay. Is it just me? They're totally flirting. So Tingyu offers Wancheng to accompany him to this Chuncheng, I believe, temple. And Wancheng agrees because he wants to meet someone. And I was like, who you want to meet? Okay, but we will get there. Anyway, we move on, and on page 176, we have where Qingyu says, well, thinks that he wants to see the imperial preceptor, right? Because he wants to know if the calculations he made were part of destiny for real, if he calculated it in the stars, or if this was purposely done. Which, fair. Fair. They don't even know. So he's like, he wants to ask that question. And I think that is 100% fair for him to want to know, like, okay, did you set me up intentionally, or did you really divine this according to your beliefs? Which it's clear that Qingyu doesn't necessarily believe in divination and all that kind of stuff. So after doing his duty at the temple by himself, he goes for a quiet walk. But he spots Wancheng at a table with a man in blue. And he's like, is it that the preceptor? So then, I just want to put out here, at the end of this chapter, we have that the preceptor, his name is Xu Junyuan. Xu Junyuan, Imperial Preceptor, entering the story. Yes, he's extremely handsome, but let's just go through some of the things that Qingyu was thinking while he was looking at them. This preceptor was a beauty that was scarcely seen, but Lu Wancheng didn't pale in comparison. He even had a slight edge over the man. He looked every bit of an elegant scion, as handsome and stately as a jade tree in the wind. He was like a sparkling jewel that made everyone else look drab and dull. All right. That's quite the way to see him. I don't think you saw him like that before. So, quite the way to see your husband. Love it. I'm here for it. But I'm just calling you out, Qingyu, that your perception of your husband has shifted, if you didn't notice. So then, reminder noted. So then, we have, at the end of the chapter, Lu Wancheng is asking the preceptor, and Qingyu is he's eavesdropping. Have there been cases of people coming to life after death, or someone waking up in another person's body? And I was like, finally, we're getting to what I've been waiting to get to forever. Did you set me up, Guosher? I can imagine him like just in modern times, like holding a gun. Did you set me up, Guosher? But obviously we're in ancient China, so a knife. Did you set me up, Guosher? Like just ready to slice him. Although, of course, he's definitely going to use poison instead. They were literally my favorite couples to watch bloom. It's so good. So then moving to chapter 16, we have... common expression. Again, did I look it up? No, but I just notated it here for myself for later if I do, or for you guys. And that is right on the front page. We have something that I think is a common expression. Nonsense, he's the I have antidote. Want to tell me? No, he'll definitely let him die. He's like, I have the antidote. Give me the information I want to know. Information given puts antidote away. It's like, I told you what you wanted to know. Yes, I know. Rest in hell now. Okay, still going. So this saying, oh no, no, no. This is the saying. I looked it up, but I couldn't find it at the moment, and I was like, I'll come back to it, but then I forgot. And that is for Luan Chang, it was describing he never chose to stand if he could sit, and never chose to sit if he could recline. So each translator that I've seen in Danmei kind of words it a little differently. Like someone used lie down or lay down instead of recline. But even like that was said for Yan Wushi, it's been said in other places before. And every place that I looked, it would have it as a Chinese expression, but it would literally only have the English and not have the Mandarin, like the translation. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna put it in Google because Google will literally just take it, and put it in what it thinks. But that was a little bit annoying for me. So I don't know. Maybe I can find it a little bit later, but other things be othering, and I didn't really have the time to do so. So I did not continue to look further. If anyone would like to do that, not me giving y'all work. Also, am I freezing to anyone? Because I just looked at my thing and my signal, I saw myself freezing. Or like, oh, a couple of times. I'm not freezing or being any weird, am I? Uh, we have those for Japanese. Ah, why am I freezing? Okay, well, hopefully it doesn't continue. Yeah, I saw it on my phone, so I was like, hold on. Okay, it looks like everything's okay now. Better get it together. I haven't been having issues with my Wi Fi for a minute. Well, that's a lie, but it was at night. So everything seems fine now, so we're going to keep going. But if it happens again, you guys just let me know. So then on that page, down closer to the bottom, we have if the dead really could come back to life or awaken in another body, there would be far less sorrow and suffering in the world. And this was Qing Yu's personal point of view. To a degree, I understand and I agree, but I also very greatly disagree. I feel like if people could just wake up in someone else's body, that doesn't necessarily solve problems. It would just make people more confused, lead to more possible dissociation and depression because they're like, what the hell's going on? Where is my family? I'm in this completely new life and I don't know what's going on. And especially if it's waking up in a new body that is not in your time period, like, sir, I don't think you understand the level of possibilities of waking up in someone else's body. That sounds scary as hell and inducing many type of mental disorders. We're gonna have some generalized anxiety disorder. Definitely gonna have some what do you call it? Why am I having a brain fart? Well, just regular, I guess, bipolar disorder, like depression, so many disorders with from switching it to somebody else's body. Like, so many identity crises unlocked. You hear me? We're gonna be like, what do I do now? So anyway, not really important, but I was just like, no, sir, no. So then, of course, the preceptor tells him no. No, no one can die and then come back to life. But I love the fact that for being in another body, he says, I don't know, you know? And then on page 180, he goes even to say, because I haven't seen it happen, but that doesn't mean it doesn't occur in this world. And I think that that is a fair answer and also just a very wise answer and a considerate answer because there are certain things in this world that people question and are wondering if it exists or not, and others are just flat out say no. But it's like, how do you know? How do you know the answer is no? So in some cases it's just like you don't know, you can't say no. Even with something like aliens, when people ask me, do you believe aliens exist, I was like, probably, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen them to my knowledge. if aliens look the way that we portray them to look. But if they look like you and me, then I possibly could have run into them and just don't know. I mean, they might not want me to know they exist, or people like, do ghosts exist? Do gods exist? I think so. But if you don't know, then you don't know. So it's one of those things I'm like, I guess when we all die, we'll definitely find out 100% sure, um, if there's a God or gods. Because if we wake up in the afterlife and they're there, we'd be like, oh, hey, I believed in you. Or, oh yeah, I didn't believe in you. So, I thought that was a good answer. Yes, definitely a lot of dysmorphia. Yes. Who can't carry his poor little wife? Man. It is a very proper scientific answer. Anything is possible. It kind of reminds me of something that I said to my father once, because my father's an atheist, and I have always believed in not only the Christian God, but I do believe that other gods exist. Some people just like a lot of Christians automatically think that if you worship another God, you're worshiping the devil. But I believe the devil himself is not the same as all of the other gods that exist. Like, they exist. Obviously, they're not, oh, this God is a devil, that God is a devil. So anyway, I've always believed they always exist. And, I told my father that for every spiritual phenomenon that happens, for the most part, scientists and logical people have a logical answer. But for every logical thing that happens, spiritual people have a spiritual reason that it happened. And in my personal opinion, I think two truths can exist at the same time. There are some things that are spiritual and logical all at once. We can give credit to God and give credit to logic, because at the end of the day, like, speaking specifically from the religion I was raised under in Christianity, it is not all spiritual. When you read the Bible, there are so many verses that talk about practical things, logical things, being a good steward of your money, taking care and helping the homeless, taking care of your household. It's like very logical things. So I think sometimes when, miracles and stuff like that do happen, or strange phenomenons, we are able to get some insight into these amazing things, because there can be some logic behind it, vice versa. So that's where I stand, not trying to go on that whole soapbox. Hi there. Not related, but you're very pretty. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, welcome, Catherine. I appreciate it. I'm glad I am the skin color I am. Otherwise, maybe I'd be pinker. Thank you so much, and welcome to the live session. But also, it is not mutually exclusive. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, thank you so much, Catherine. So yeah, totally went in the wrong direction of conversation, but anyway, where did I leave off? We're gonna find it. Oh, yes. So finally, Qingyu comes into sight because he gets caught by Huan Tong being like, hey, master, basically. And Lu Wancheng sees him, so he comes over. And Wancheng introduces Qingyu as his Nei Zhen. So I want to tell you guys it's Nei Zhen. Nei Zhen. Now, footnote 13 says it's a term for one's wife, but I thought I'd tell you that Nei is a way to say inside or within, and Zhen is person. So you're inside person. Isn't that super cool? I was like, whoa. I'm gonna start calling my husband my inside person in English, because this one's for wife. But I'm gonna start calling him my inside person, because that is so cool. Okay. I don't know why, but that just made me very, very excited. Because there are several ways to say wife, like chitsa, fu, fu something. It's not futin, is it? It's been a while. Chita is the one I usually hear. But to hear Najan, I was like, oh, I like this one. So that was very exciting. You were raised Muslim, but somewhere along the way, you realized you never connect with the religion fully. Mm. You're in the middle of like believing and not believing. I was in that phase too. Kind of around the same time that I started reading Danme, but slightly before, just because of like when I connected with my mother who raised me in this religion. Now she was looking at a whole bunch of other stuff, the black woman is God or you are and this and that and that. And like she was talking about all the problems in the Bible. And I just felt like my world was shattering. And so once we disconnected, then I was just like, I don't know what to believe anymore. I think I realized that I, not to say that there weren't some things that were personal in my relationship with God, but like it was more so built off of her and my world shattered. So I was kind of in an agnostic phase for a long time. And now I'm no longer in my agnostic phase. I had been in my kind of I just don't care phase. Like, whatever. It is what it is. And then certain things that I just disagree with. Actually, just one major thing. And that's, as far as homosexuality is concerned. And so then it just made me question, like, well, can I still say I'm a Christian if, I don't agree with something in the Bible, blah, 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 snore, long story. And now I'm just at a point where I do want to reconnect in my relationship with God, but on a personal level that is more understandable for me rather than basing it off of someone else. Sorry if I heard that. Rather than building my foundation off of someone, my mother, who was my idol. So I wish you all the best. Again, going on a segue, Oofenschlagen, in your journey. Whatever the end result may be, I don't know what it would be, but I know what it's like to be teeter-tottering between, like, do I believe, do I not believe? Do I not believe, do I believe? Should I believe this? Should I believe that? Like, do I have to believe everything or just some of it? Okay, so I understand how taxing it can be, emotionally confusing it can be. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. So um you say you're happy to hear those giggles again outside of me reading the books. Oh man, I've giggled so much recently in these books, but yes, I'm a giggly person. I'm naturally happy, okay? So when I'm sad, it's just kind of like, well, pooey. Everyone has to find their own way with religion, dogma, faith, ethics, and morals. Yep. I say, regardless of what you think is right or wrong, everyone has to find their own path. I know people evangelize, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if somebody doesn't want to believe in what you believe, or they're at a different stage, you get in, you get out, basically. They either accept it or they don't. So now, moving forward again from another derailment, because apparently we're just going to have lots of those today, which is no problem. Unless y'all be like, Mari, please stay on the subject of the book. Then I promise that I will. So, yes. So he introduced his baby as his inside person, as his wife. Lanjo shenanigans. Giggles ensue. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So then, we even have it where it says that Wancheng was openly admiring Qingyu, like he was the most vibrant peach blossom in flower. Again, when will y'all realize that you're as straight as a squiggly line? But okay. So the preceptor offers wine, and then he ends up offering tea instead to a toast because, like, Wancheng can't drink. Come on, my guy. You should know this. Anyway, we move forward, and Tingyu is not playing around, okay? Because immediately he was like, why me? I just love it because he's never holding anything back with anyone. He's like, get to the point. If you have something you want, just say it. Why me? So, of course, the preceptor goes on to say, it was heaven's design, blah, blah, snore. And Wancheng tells the preceptor that the warding off marriage did not get rid of his illness. He was like, so you can't just willy-nilly make these match matches anymore because you could ruin people's lives. He's like, sir, I may be feeling better, but the sickness is still here. The sickness didn't up and go away. We didn't ward anything off. We kind of just tapped it a little bit to make it shrink a little in certain periods, but come on, my guy. So I just love that moment that in a way he was standing up for Qingyu, even though it's too late, they're already married. But he's just like, sir, my Nejan feels like his life has been destroyed. This is all your fault. So, not the snakes in the squiggly lines. Yes. So, then we move forward, and on page 183, apparently, there is a question, and I think that is a clever way to ask if someone woke up in another body. Because the preceptor says, hey, Wancheng, do you have another name aside from Lu Wancheng? I could start the divination process again, with the other name. And he asked it in this way. I think it's really clever because when they were talking before about someone waking up in another body, and he was like, well, I've never known. No one's ever said it to me. And it's like, of course, because why would someone say it? They would be looked at as crazy. And then anything could happen from there. So they get off the subject for a second. And then he's just casually like, but perhaps do you go by another name? That was his way of asking, did you wake up in another body? I was like, sir, you think you slick. But if I immediately knew what you were doing, they immediately know. So, of course, Wancheng was like, no. Okay. And so then, finally, Qingyu is thinking about this whole thing. And he was like, okay, Wancheng hesitated when he said he's a smart little cookie. He is. But he was like, Wancheng hesitated when he said no. So then he starts analyzing the hesitance and analyzing everything that we've pointed out to Qingyu, and he just didn't hear. He's like, come to think of it, a lot of stuff has been suspicious. I was disregarding it as all nonsense and him being silly. But wait, is he someone from another, in someone else's body? Hold on. I was like, sir, you are well behind. How can you be this smart but this stupid? We've been telling you for the past week and a half, or no, how long has it been? 2 weeks, that he's been suspicious, or he'll say something and you just disregard it. And we're like, no, pay attention. Our words aren't making it onto the pages, clearly. So then we get a little down further to the page, and it says that Qingyu realized that the preceptor, he was very polite. He wasn't using his status to overpower them. He wasn't an irksome person. And so, because of that, Qingyu decided to be considerate of him and think, even if I take revenge on this man in the future, I'm going to make sure that I use a medicine that's not too venomous. I was like, I would hate to ever offend this man. Even if I'm a good person and I offend him, I'm still gonna die, probably. But just maybe not as horrible as a death. Is that what you're telling me? So I was just like, okay, Qingyu, let's rein it in just like a tiny bit, maybe. No, okay, that's fine. Yeah, don't keep it however you want to. Yes, his perfect. Yes, exactly. Just pulling it all out now, like, oh, I remember this and that and that and that and that. So we move forward, and we're about to be at the end of this chapter. Hey, hey, hey. So anyway, they leave, and then everybody is staring at Qingyu because he's so beautiful. Did we not see that on the front cover? Just how beautiful he is. Although Wancheng just has such an amazing... I think the way that Qingyu described Wancheng, it's perfect. But anyway, Qingyu is so beautiful. So everybody's staring, and Huantong is like, master, like, you ain't gonna say nothing? All these people are looking at him because he knows that Qingyu doesn't like being ogled, right? Because he's dealt with a lot of perverts before. Meanwhile, Wancheng is like, I mean, he's beautiful. People gonna see him. That's all it is, it's whatever. I'm the one that gets to go home with him, so, he's not theirs. And Huan Tong was like, oh, so he's yours? And he was like, well, at least I could see him every day. I was just like, you could have said he's yours. He's your Nasian. Didn't you just say that? He's yours. Okay. So then, final part, where we get here, and I just want to make sure that I say what's in my note. Oh, you just said, we love a secure king. I mean, he is so secure. He's like, they could look. Who made the song, look, but don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch? Where was that? Oh, from Empire. Yes. One of the most popular, well, I'm sure other races watched it too, but one of the most popular Black people music shows to watch some years ago. Everybody was on it. There was a song that was from there. I think it was an okay song. I don't remember. Anyway, I digress. So then, Wancheng says, I want to see your young master standing in the snow, wearing a bright red cape, holding an umbrella, with flushed cheeks and long hair as black as ink. He'll surely be stunning. Wancheng. Your gay is showing, sweetie. I was like, who says that? What are you saying? Okay, you want to see him like that. Okay, sure. So the other thing, is, okay, is that what the cover is? Is that what the cover depicts? Although the umbrella seems to have fallen, maybe because he leaned down to touch his man. But he's in the bright red. There's the red umbrella. Umbrella didn't went away. I mean, I guess his cheeks are a little flushed too. Y'all see the color in those cheeks? Right up in there. I was like, okay. Well, it looks like you're gonna get your wish fulfilled because the cover scene is showing us something that happens. So you're gonna make it to see your Nasian in that red with the red umbrella, and all of that stuff. You're gonna get to see it straight as a circle. Like, okay. So then, Tingyu asks him one more time because he heard them, right? And so he was like, "Do you really not have another name?" And he doesn't lie. He just says, that's a funny question. If I did, I would know about it, wouldn't I? Okay. Fine. Deny without a lie, if you must. So then we move to chapter 17, which apparently has more content because now I got 2 pages worth of notes. Cries and can't tell you. Nope. It's your fault for reading ahead. Like, what do you want me to say? You have done this to yourself. You can't talk sometimes because you read ahead. So, chapter 17, we have Qingyu doesn't believe Wancheng for good reason, but he does not believe him, but he isn't sweating it. You don't care? Why do I imagine you just like Qingyu when he was like, well, do or don't take the medicine. See if I care. This is how I see you right now. I don't care. Not saying that is you, but... Or even Shen Zichuan when they were in bed and he was like, do it. See if I care. It's like, I don't know. I feel like you might care. You will watch me go through it and cackle. The audacity of you. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to find a special reward for you, NFS. You know, I feel like sometimes you be taunting me. You don't actually think the quote, I'm sorry, hold on. So I don't actually think the quote about not standing when you sit is even Chinese. Maybe even something said by Winston Churchill? Whoa. Okay. Hi, Story Jumper. That's okay if you have to rewatch. We love you. Well, at least I do. Maybe not everyone else does, but I would think they do. So I love you. It was so stupid. Well, I need. Um, okay. Probably not a Chinese expression. Well, psych my mind, my booty shine. We're going to continue after I finish chewing my cashew. And I brought 20 with me today. It's full. Why is it full? Because I have not been being a responsible adult and drinking my tea. Shame on me. Well, that was actually really good with like the hint of the cashew still left. Okay, whatever. I'm so nice. I don't think so. um, so he doesn't believe him, but he's not sweating it. And his whole thing is he's not really offended by the fact that Wan Chung is not willing to offer everything just yet. And he is like, okay, he seems to know everything, but he realizes he actually doesn't know that much about Wan Chung. And I was like, huh, you seem to be a little bit like oofed about that a little bit because beforehand you weren't really thinking about getting to know him. You were just like there. That was it. But the fact that you're even thinking about this now shows that you actually care to get to know him. But then after all of that and thinking, oh, he's not sweating it, I was like, well, I guess I got to take back my first bullet point because no, he's definitely sweating it. He definitely cares because he turns into Snoopy Pants. Okay? He turns into Snoopy Pants and oopsie, starts looking for clues. We love a secure king reprise. So then he comes across calligraphy, and oh, hold on. Am I missing something? I feel like this happens every time. So anyway, he is talking with Hualu and he was like, what was he like beforehand? So she's telling him, he didn't smile that much, he didn't speak that much, he didn't play with a pitch pot, he didn't walk his birds and stuff like that. Just a completely different person, right? And she's like, after you came, everything just changed. Like after the wedding night, it's been amazing. And so then he was like, okay, what did he do before? Well, he read travelogues and, he was always stuck inside, but he really wanted to get out. That's what he wanted. He wanted to get out. He wanted to visit Lean On, and then he knew that he would die happy. And this is important for later. But anyway, so then we move forward, and he's thinking, okay, so, with this crazy turn in Wan Chung's personality, is it possible? Like he had a dream and someone delivered a message to him or something like that, to tell him, for instance, his now mother and the sister are not good people or what. He's trying to make sense of everything because it is such a turn. So then we have where he's looking. Of course, it's said that Wan Chung had fallen into a coma for about a month until their wedding night. And after that, he notices from what he looked at that, yes, the handwriting changed after that as well. So, this is what happens when I don't look at my nose. Oh, yes, it even says that he was really nice to Lady Leong. He doted on her, which, is what she said before. Like, he was a very docile person, blah, blah, snore. But now he's changed and she can't control him anymore, basically. So we move on. And we have a coming from Huan Tong. He's like, young master, it's time for your meal. The young Marquess has invited you to dine with him. And it was just like, oh. But then before he does that, he writes next to some words that were written, scram, as an beside the annotation. And I was like, why do we do this? Why do we write scram? Are you telling someone to go away? What are we doing? So, as we continue reading, we have them eating together, and then soon Steward Zhang arrives and he gives them a report on the income and expenses, and we learn that Lu Qiao Song, Lady Liang's son, her birth son, he's good at poetry and rhapsodies, and those rhapsodies are usually focused on lyricism and personal expression, which is called where'd it go? Wanyue, yeah, which was a poetry genre that emerged during the Song Dynasty. And so, not only that, but he was, did I say also good looking? Yeah. And he was very charming, very unrestrained, especially when it came to matters of sex. And he was seen as useless because I remember Lady Liang saying no, no, no. I remember it being said that Lady Liang's son was useless, and I was like, why? Then we find out that he failed a high ranking in the Imperial Civil Exam. So there we have it. You said, well, spoiler. He spoiled him on who the murderer is. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. He did. Yeah. I guess I didn't really connect that. So I guess I would. I guess I would write scram next to that, sure. So, because the book apparently was good. He was like, it just pulled him right in. But yeah, that is rude. He did spoil it. I guess it was just because he wrote the words scram in particular. I was just kind of like, scram? Okay. So anyway, I probably would have put like, you suck or something like that. But I'm not him. So, one of his servants claims that the accountants are embezzling money because he's getting less. But in truth, he's. I tell him to scram for sure. Do you know how I talk? You got a little Mari script? So, um, they claim that the accountants are embezzling money because he's been getting less. But in all actuality, beforehand, he was just getting extra. Now he's just getting exactly what he's supposed to get. And that's a problem. He's like, where's my money? Y'all embezzling. What's happening? And so the servant makes a big scene. And even Qing Yu is just like, let them keep making a big scene. It's all going to work out just fine, you know? I can replay your short. Which one? Okay. So, what do I have? Oh, I have a little footnote right here. So then, of course, Qing Yu is like, is he afraid his mother's going to get out too soon? Basically, is he causing more trouble because he wants her to stay on punishment? Because anything that he does wrong is going to fall back on his mother, which we do see a little later when she gets berated. And then Wan Chung responds with, we keep trapping demons, and they're all such pests. Huh. Why are there so many causing us stress? This is a lyric from the theme song of a TV adaptation of Journey to the West. Have I ever heard of that? Nope, but that's okay. Oh, and I got spoiled. Wait, did I say scram? Which, by the way, I know I'm just a bit cranky because like work has been stressing me out lately and I've done so much socializing since the beginning of last week. But someone did notify me of who was on the cover of volume 7 of QJJ. And I was just like, Well, I didn't know that because we were having a conversation. And I was like, well, I mean, I really wish you hadn't have told me that because I didn't know. Like, I had seen the cover to Volume 7, but I didn't know it was on it. I was like, well, eventually, as I keep reading, as this character gets described more or becomes more relevant, then I'll know who that character is. But they told me. I mean, I still don't know who the person is on the other side, but I was just like, oh, I kind of just wanted to wait until I could figure that out for myself. I was like, oh well, I guess. So anyway, that was random. It wasn't a spoiler, but it was a spoiler. It was a non-spoiler spoiler. I don't know, because it was in a character who obviously each character becomes relevant at some point, right? But I was like, I mean, this person has not been relevant as of recent, so you know, I didn't know, but it is what it is. So then we move forward. I got sidetracked. I am going to watch my video now to see if I said scram. Since you like, I'm going to replay you. You accidentally slammed your pinky in a car door, so you missed a bit. Oh my God. Are you okay? Is your pinky okay? It's not broken or anything, is it? That really sucks. I mean, if you have to rewatch, do what you got to do, but that just really sucky because I know that is not whew, that is painful. I hope it's okay. You did not, but that's what you would write for Lou for spoiling you. Write to Lou for spoiling you. Scram. Oh gosh. So, hold on. I lost my place from getting sidetracked. You will have to scram. So then, yeah, he's like, let them make a fuss, let them be as loud as they want to. And then we have at some point, Chiao Song falls ill. Now, when I first read it, I thought he conveniently fell ill. That ended up not being the case, but I thought, oh, that's real convenient. Mm-hmm. Sure. Especially since Auntie Chu, his wet nurse, was like, "Oh, he's ill. Give us our 200 taels of silver so that we can get a physician." I was like, "Is this is just y'all way to get some money?" And Chingu, I was like, "Okay, Inspector Gadget." It was inspection time. He, well, he didn't put on his physician hat. I feel like that hat is always on. So he was like, well, let me go check. So we have Chiao Song. He's been vomiting. He's got the chills. And Qing Yu determines that his sexual dalliances, anyone else like that word, have caused kidney deficiency. So we have it where he, I'm telling you, this man clearly did not learn from his mother's example. He did not learn from Auntie, was it Auntie Chu and Feng Qin, servant Feng Qin. He did not learn, I'm sorry, it was Auntie Liu, I think, from what happened with them, right? Because while he's getting checked and Tingyu tells him it's because of the kidney deficiency, you need to be more mindful. He goes on to say, you're spouting nonsense because my sickly elder brother can't satisfy you. So, um, you don't think it's broken? Just purple. Well, I hope it's not broken. Purple is a nice color, preferably not on the finger. But if you want to look on the bright side of life, it's purple. Uh, Currently icing it. That's good. Yeah. Tingyu is like, I'm a doctor. So then, after he says that, Tingyu is like, he doesn't need to live. like, so basically, Xiao Song, you woke up and chose not to wake up again tomorrow, is what it sounds like. Why would you say that? I was just like, he was like, someone like him doesn't need to survive. I was like, sir, you are causing yourself a world of trouble that you don't even know what you just brought upon you. He's like, yeah, you have chosen death. Purple is in fact your favorite color. Yay! Well, if it makes you feel even better, the icon next to your name is purple with the crown, and you're number one. Dun, dun, dun! It all works out. It all works out. But yeah, the man has chosen death. So I was like, okay, when you die, I'm not going to attend your funeral, actually, because like you did this to yourself. We already saw the warnings before you, and you did not heed them. Okay? So we move forward, and Xiao Song. Oh, I just said that. Yep, 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 yep. Oh yeah, my note says Jiao Song says Ting Yu is coming after him because blah 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 blah. And I said, well, dot dot dot. Have fun with the physician. So then, of course, we have him running into Chang Yang, who was his shushong, or his his shurdi. They studied under the same mentor together for several years, and he happens to be the physician that comes to take care of Xiao Song. And he seems very excited to see him. So at first I was very excited too. I was like, hell yay, a familiar face. Ha 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 ha. Okay. I also thought that because they were close, that perhaps maybe the guy would do something to Xiao Song, under like instruction or whatever. I don't know what I was thinking when I first finished this chapter. I was like, okay, let's see what happens with this physician that he is giving you guys. But that wasn't, he didn't really. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, they are reunited, but it's cut very short. Why? Because Qingyu can see Lu Niantao, the sister, observing. And so he's like, up, get in there. I got stuff to do. See you later. Bye. Of course, Changyang is not very excited about that, but what can he do? So again, we learned they traveled, it was specifically 6 years that they traveled together, and Changyang is from Lean On. And so we have it. Oh, one more thing, because we're just going to drive it home until we get the confirmation. On page 189, no, why did I flip the numbers? On page 198, Lu Wanchang says, thanks to them, if you can't go at it 7 times a night, why we mentioned 7 times again, it feels like you have no right to be a protagonist. All right, just throwing that out there. So anyway, then Qingyu asks Wanchang, like, are you and the crown prince? Because you seem to know some stuff about him. Are y'all, getting it on? And he's like, absolutely not. No. And then Qingyu is like, yeah, you don't like men. And Wanchang hesitates. But then he's like, right. Left is definitely left. There is no right here. It's definitely left. So then Qingyu tells him, he came across his shurdi and everything. He's gone taller. And he asks him, hey, when you're feeling better, do you want to go on a trip to Lean On after your condition improves? And Wanchang, he doesn't even think about it. He just says no. The answer is very decisive. And he was like, going out would be a long, exhausting trip. I'm not going to eat and sleep well. Like, I'd only go out and make my life worse. And so Qingyu is like, is that so? Because the Lu Wanchang who wrote in the travelogues to Lean On or whatever really wanted to go. But you don't? Okay. Feeling around for a grape. I only have 2 left. I'll be like, you don't like men. Please like me. He almost made me spit out my grape. He doesn't like manhood much less life. Dude, crushing hard. He really doesn't refer to anybody with affectionate names. So then we move to chapter 18. And I'm moving to find my notes. Chang Yang gave the exact same diagnosis. It's kind of like one of those moments where you're working in customer service, right? And someone's complaining about something. You tell them protocol. And what do they say? Let me speak to your manager. Okay. Manager gets on the phone. What does the manager say? The exact same thing. So anyway, same diagnosis. He just said it in a nicer way, okay? In a way that, didn't really say anything about sex. And he even left a prescription. But what does Lunia and Tao do? She instructed another physician to fetch the necessary herbs to follow his own prescription from the apothecary. So when I saw that, I was like, so you're not gonna follow what was given to you? Okay. Alrighty then. Fine. So then we move forward, and she's trying to fish. Before that, she was trying to fish answers from him because she knows that he's connected to Qing Yu. But he's not being forthcoming, which I very greatly appreciate. I was like, okay, so you're a little smart. Good. You know not to say anything. So after that, we have where Lu Nian she's very smarty pants, and she goes to the Marquess, and she's like, oh, brother's feeling ill, and this and that, and blah, blah, cry. And what ends up happening? Lady Leon gets released. What does she do? She immediately goes to scold her sick son. Love it. Okay. But I ain't gonna lie. I was just like, dang. Because on page 203, she was like, my birth family is incompetent. Like, if I was her son and her daughter, I was just, but, like, dang. Can you be any nicer to your own children? Okay. So, we move forward from the mean mother. Like, I feel wronged for them. But anyway, Nian asks Lady Liang why, when she was doing all her plotting and scheming, why she didn't tell her. She's like, I could have helped you. And then her mom was just like, I didn't want to bother you. I'm so sorry. And so then she even has a little thought that the only reason she made her bad decisions is because of Auntie Liu egging her on. Well, yes, because there was a moment where you weren't sure, and you were like, I don't know, something's not right here, but you decided to listen, which was a bad idea. So anyway, we move forward. What's done is done. Like, you've already messed yourself up completely. So then we get a little forward into the next scene where we have it there. Wang Chung wants to look at the beauty before his nap time. This is my last grape. Because you need to see a pretty face before you fall asleep. That's just, you gotta see your spouse or your loved one before you fall asleep. Like, for real, it doesn't happen all the time now. Maybe like 95% of the time. I don't go to sleep until my husband gets home. So if he's out doing some like music production late or working late or whatever, or even if he's like, the other day, he was in this room, I was in the bedroom trying to sleep. It was awful. I was like, when is he getting back in here? And finally I was able to go to sleep when he got in the bed. And so I'm just like, poor little Wan Chung is like, before my nap, I gotta see my Neiren. Where you at, babe? I mean, he eventually shows up, so it is what it is. He gets there, and then it's supposed to be, him going to sleep. And it makes a note here that, where does it say? At this hour, Lu Wan Chung was usually so soundly asleep that it was as if he'd passed out, to quote the young lord. I highlighted this because I thought it strange, because I think I remember saying in our last live session. Maybe not. Or did I say it in this session? Boy, I don't know. Where I was just basically thinking, what if Lu Wan Chung, whenever like he goes to sleep or something, he's able to communicate with the previous world, or something. I don't know. So instead of like, I guess, falling asleep, it could be considered passing out. And so I was like, well, it's weird that it quotation marks that, but we'll get back to it. And then, Tingyu goes to see Changyang, and then Lu Wan Chung is like, when did you give me a green pillow? To the servant. He was like, it makes me feel like there's a ton of green around my head. For anyone who doesn't have the footnotes, wearing a green hat is slang for being cuckolded. I was like, oh, you feeling some kind of way about another man seeing your man? Okay. So we move forward. Yes. Changyang has romantic feelings for Qingyu. And he regrets not saying anything before, suppressing those feelings. And in this case, he needs the last thing he sees to be something pretty. Yes. Not just something pretty, but specifically, I'm go back, the beauty. Not even the beauty, but he wanted to look once again at the beauty before drifting off. So a very specific pretty, huh? A very specific beauty. Right, he got that green monster. So yes, Changyang has romantic feelings for Qingyu, which of course, Qingyu, like, yeah, we know this. But I love it because when he's talking to him and he sees him, he's like, you're taller, Shirdi. And then he remembers tall Shirdi, which is what Wan Chung had said to call him. And it's like, look at you, even thinking about Wan Chung when you're not with him. And even at the end of that paragraph, it says, Lu Wan Chung wasn't really one for proper business, but he'd certainly mastered getting into a person's head. And I was like, no, that's not something he masters. That's something that you are just affected by. Okay, like you were lost in the sauce of Wan Chung. So he has these romantic feelings and he's talking about Qingyu's circumstance, and Qingyu is just like, nope, put it off, rewatch later, bye-bye, see you later. He's like, nope, I don't want to talk about this. But what does Changyang do? Continues to talk in spite of his wishes. Okay. And then on page 208, I have this little highlight here where it says, I grew up with Shishong. You and I were like brothers, closer. I mean, we're like brothers, closer to each other than anyone else. Of course, this was because Wan Chung decided to come out and be nosy, right? Because he could not stand to have the two of them alone together. And so I was like, okay, great. So you just have to say that to throw your skin in the game out there. The little competition, but the competition's already lost because Wan Chung has him. You don't. So then we go down a little further, and it said he was like, Lu Wan Chung wasn't having a conversation because they started talking about medicine, but he was totally fine with that. He was the one who currently sat beside Lin Qingyu in the seats for the household masters, sipping tea. And I just thought it was nice because, again, it reminded me of the end of chapter 15, 16, I don't remember, where he was like, let them look. I'm the one that gets to come home with them. With him. So it was like, even in this moment, he was like, let them talk about medicine. Where am I sitting? In the seat for the masters of the household, right next to Qingyu, who is also in the seat for the masters of the household. And so, basically, what do we get from there? He talks to Qingyu about his circumstances, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I just put, oh yeah, Wan Chung is claiming his territory just by sitting there. I think is what I said. Yeah, so really quickly, I have a note here that I'm not understanding. So I have to go back and look at my note and understand why I made the note. Page 202, page 209. Okay, yeah. Oh, it was just verified that yeah, Qiao Song was not taking this prescription that Cheng Yang gave, and it was because obviously knowing that Qing Yu and Chang Yang were close, why would they take it? Why would they trust that? So then we move to chapter 19, which I think is the longest chapter I've read in this book, but we'll see. So what happens is, opening sentence, Chang Yang became a regular at the Marquess of Nan An's residence. And I was like, no. No, because we know that Lunian Tao is plotting stuff. I was like, no, sigh. Every 3 days, sigh. I mean, he was going there to do the physician's work, and immediately when it said in the previous chapter that he had feelings for Qing Yu, I was like, yeah, then he's definitely going to accept. He's definitely going to come because he wants to see Qing Yu. And that is exactly what happens. And so not only does he do like come every 3 days, he's also bringing gifts sometimes. I'm just like, sir, what are we doing? So anyway, I'm at least glad that Wan Cheng was always there. Every time that Chang Yang came over, Wan Cheng was like, hey, buddy, what's up, best friend? Like, you're back again. Hey. It's like, oh my God. I know Chang Yang is so annoyed because he just wants a moment alone to talk with Qing Yu about what he wants to do, what his plans are. So we have it where, like I said, Nian Tao is definitely trying to have some kind of plot. And at first, what I had thought, which it still ended up being that, I thought that Nian Tao was plotting to show maybe Qing Yu and Chang Yang having an affair or something like that, which is what the aim was. But I thought that because Wan Cheng was there all the time, that maybe it would have to be something else. I would have thought that she would have been given that information, so I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll try to take another angle. I don't know. And I was like, is the brother not going to get better? And are they going to try to spin it and make it seem like that Chang Yang was not helping him improve and somehow that falls back on Qing Yu? But nope, it ended up being the original plot. I guess I was thinking too many avenues because I was like, well, this doesn't look like it's going to work. So let's try something else. But that was just me because I'm like, well, Wan Cheng's always there, so probably not going to be able to follow through with the plot of the two guys having an affair. But okay. So anyway, like I said, he visits. Wan Cheng's always there. But then on one particular time, he visits, and what is happening? A cockfight. Picture. Oops. This is the picture. And honestly, the bird in the front at the top corner has quite the attitude. So anyway, he's just like, this guy does not deserve Qing Yu. Qing Yu is akin to a god, which he said he was a man comparable to God or an immortal. And Wan Cheng was just not it. He was like, he does not deserve my Qing Yu. Whatever, fine. So his chicken won, I guess, the fight or whatever. And he's building Chang Yang is building some resentment with everything. And so he wants to take Qing Yu away. He wants to save him. So anyway, turns out this rooster is the wedding rooster that bowed with Qing Yu, who ends up later being cooked. Okay, but Qing Yu and Wan Cheng, eventually they get their time alone and they're talking, and Wan Cheng says a bit too much. And I need to turn to this page so we can get there, because he was talking about sharing food, right? And he was like, oh, I shared food with my peers, and when I had this and that and that and that. And then Qing Yu is just like, so when did you have these peers? And he was like, oh, so you can have some, but I can't. And he was like, no, it's not that. It's just that you've been sick whole life. This has been your circumstance. And yet somehow you have these peers and you just have this life that sounds like it belongs to someone else. So I was like, yeah, my guy, you talked a little bit too much. Okay. And Qing Yu was just calling them out on it. So, but when it looked like Wan Cheng didn't want to say anything else, they just moved on from there. And again, cooked the chicken. Because the chicken had the audacity to bow with Qing Yu. Bow with Qing Yu. So then we move forward, and it's Chang Yang's last day. And Lunian Tao has him followed. And of course, what does he do? Because he's never had a moment alone with Qingyu, he decides to write a little note. And it's like, meet me at our spot. That's not what it really said. It said, meet me in the backyard. And he told Huan Tong to make sure that the young master did not hear about it. Okay? But Huan Tong ended up letting him hear about it. Why? Because Lin Qingyu was like, nope, tell me what the note says right in front of Wan Cheng. And I love what it says on page 219 because it said they had long since been forced into the same boat. There was nothing that happened in the Marquess's residence Lin Qingyu couldn't discuss in front of Lu Wancheng. And I just felt like that was another bump up in their relationship for what they used to be like before. So he says it, and Lu Wancheng is just like, yep, I already knew this was coming. And then he even says a cutesy little poem on the next page where he's like, the moon shines from above the willow tree. Two lovers promise to meet as the sun sets. This is from Song of Hawthorne Lantern Festival, written during the Song Dynasty by poet Oh Yang-xiu. Now, that's actually a poet I had never heard of before, but nevertheless, I heard them. So, sorry. Qingyu is saying that he's not going to go see, but Wancheng says that he should. So then when we move to the next scene, we have it where, did I just accidentally skip a page? I'm sorry, hold on. Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't skip a page. So we have it where Qingyu is going out to meet or whatever. And then it says that for Lu Wancheng, watching, his silhouette go away, that he felt the possessiveness men tended to experience. And I was like, yeah, you feel possessiveness for something that is yours. You feel ownership, and then it was like when someone borrowed his favorite toys when he was a child. And so I was just like, sir, connect the dots. You're feeling the feels, but okay, that's fine. So he already knew that Chang Yang was going to confess his feelings, but then he was like, I guess, wait, huh? He's going to confess? And then so for a reason, he really didn't like the idea of Chang Yang confessing and possibly grabbing his waist and forcing him in a kiss. Like you just know he's going to force a kiss on him, but honestly, it probably would be forced. And so that spurs on his action basically to work some things out. So of course, his Shishong, when they're meeting, his Shudi, he's like, I want to take you away. And this is exactly what Qingyu expected. Nothing out of the ordinary. So he's saying, okay, well, if I go with you, how are we going to deal with my family? How are we going to deal with this, and that? And Chang Yang has a plot for everything, and even brings up the departure pill, which apparently their mentor mastered in creation. Honestly, I don't think we need to review the story on how that went. Hey, Vico, how's it going? You said connect, understand. Why wouldn't someone else confessing? Right. Why wouldn't you like someone else confessing to this man? Because it's like, why are we not connecting the dot? Look, here's a dot. Wait, that's too far away. And here's a dot. Connect them. Okay? It was a very bad line. But even if you got to do squiggly line like that, connect the dots, sir. But that's okay. So, I'm almost done with this chapter. Oh, okay. I thought. Maybe not. Okay, we'll see. So anyway, he becomes upset that that Chang Yang is trying to take his wifey away. Which is how it says it in here, that he's trying to take his wifey away. Well, I don't think it says the word wifey, but wife, just wife. And Qingyu actually sends Chang Yang away, but Wan Cheng says that, he should stay, basically, for the entertainment. It's like, okay, what is this entertainment going to be? So we have him waiting for, I guess, 2 more hours before they meet, it appears. Yes. And then finally, Qingyu goes to meet him. I guess I forgot to say that, but yeah, they had him wait for 2 hours. Anyway, moving forward. Qingyu basically says that Changyang doesn't know him because Changyang is like, I'll take you away and you can have everything you want in life. It could be me, you, and or me, you and your family, you'll be taken care of. You can do whatever it is that you want. And he was like, I don't think you know me at all. Because according to you, what I want is to live a merry life off in the mountains somewhere. He's like, no, that's not what I want. I want to be the best. Okay? I want to have people trembling and kneeling in front of me. I want to be an imperial physician, not just a physician, because I want access to all of the books that I can possibly get my hands on and learn as much as I can possibly learn about medicine and poison and things to heal. And so he's just like, you don't know me. And honestly, I thought the same thing too, because when he was like, if you regain your freedom, you can do anything you want. Isn't that enough? I was like, dude, actually, let me show y'all my note. I mean, my little input. Dude, like, are we serious right now? You don't know him. And I was just like, because after that, it was like he was super dumbfounded. And this person that he held in such high regard as righteous and virtuous and having an open heart, he realized that he was not really that person. And I was like, it's your fault for putting him on such a high pedestal, you know? He has never been this person. That's just how you felt. Like, it's crazy how, I mean, we do it for other people as well, but especially with people that we are romantically attracted to, sometimes we put them in too high a pedestal. In my note, I just said, yeah, we really need to stop putting a person on such a high pedestal, because when the truth is revealed, it's the person bending their neck skyward that falls, not the person on the pedestal. So, like, this is your problem to deal with, not Qingyu's. Qingyu is just fine with your perception having gone like, he is perfectly fine. You're hungry but ready for salty fish. I love it. I need some fish. Maybe some salmon or tilapia or something. Please stay to watch the show. Katy Perry fireworks playing in the background. Even the little brat who belongs in the well. To the well! Tan Teacher knows him better. Exactly. Like, come on. If anything, I mean, it would definitely be like enemies to lovers. But if he would be with someone other than Wan Chong, I feel like he'd have a better chance with Tan Teacher than with you. Because at least that man understands him, and they like going toe to toe with each other. Like, what are you just offering him to go live off in the mountains somewhere? What are we doing? To quote Shelly Ann, don't fucking put me on a pedestal. Like, don't. Your neck is the one that's gonna break. I was trying to make cracking sounds, but I don't know. I sound like maybe I was just choking. But then he even goes on and he's like, okay, well, can the Marquess give you all those things that you want? Like, all he does, he doesn't have much longer to live. He's just wandering around aimlessly. And I loved Qingyu in this moment, because he's like, how do you expect him to act then? The man is in the last 6 months of his life. Is he supposed to apply? Like, is he supposed to take the imperial examination? Is he supposed to create some world-stopping cure or invention for society? He's got 6 months left to live. Let this man live however he wants to live. If he wants to cockfight, let him. If he wants to cockfight, let him. Okay, I'm sorry. But it even goes on to say that, both he and Wan Chong are kindred spirits. When I was like, oh, I don't think you've ever referred to him as that before, but nice. So he's like, they're kindred spirits, and I was just like, yeah, Changyang, you've totally messed yourself up in this moment. I don't know what you were thinking, but you messed it all up. That is the main point. So then we move forward, and yeah. It seems, I'm saying it seems, because this is volume 1, and things can always change. it seems like Changyang knows that no means no. It seems that he can take rejection. I hope that is truly the case. We shall see. And of course, he was like, oh, I thought too highly of myself, blah, blah, snore. And Huan Tong is like, okay, go home, whatever. But then, of course, that's when, I'm sorry, because I mixed that up earlier, when Wan Chung is like, no, stay for the show. We're like, what show? So then we see that Auntie Chu and Song Song, is how I have them in here, are waiting and hiding because they're trying to catch Qing Yu and Chang Chang in some kind of act, in the act of being alone together, watching the moon together, blah, blah, snore. So they're doing this. And then at the end, she bellows really loudly, like, oh my gosh, ain't that the young lord who you watching the moon with on a sly in the middle of the night? All right. Who is it actually? The Marquess. It's the Marquess and his son, Wan Chong. And boy, does she feel, I think it said her knees buckled because, whoo, oh my gosh, Wan Chung almost fell into the water. And because he almost fell into the water, his father had to save him from doing that. And this seemed to make him even worse, like in a worse mood. But we do learn that Lady Pan basically was supposed to be going with him, but then they ran into Wan Chung, so she went off and was like, I'm gonna go cook, as a considerate gesture. And I was like, you planned that. Like this was y'all coordination. But okay. Very nice. I absolutely love it. So we have Wan Chung who's just pushing the whole thing, right? Because Auntie Chu was like, oh my gosh, you look like them from afar. I couldn't tell. I can't be blamed for my mistake. And I was like, actually, you can be blamed for your mistake. You can. Because you shouting out what you shouted was it was pretty clear what you were doing. Okay. It was very clear. So we have first Wan Chung stumbling, almost falling into the water, which that probably was real. But just in case it was fake, I was like, okay, that was strike number one, him almost falling into the water, which would make his father upset because he's already frail. And if he got sick again, then it would be a major problem. Then we have strike number two, which is Wan Chung saying something about his brother having the crap. Where did I just put it? Oh, calling out his brother's kidney deficiency. That's what it was. That's all it was. And of course, their father knows what kidney deficiency means, so he was pissed. And then we continue on, basically on the last page, where Xiao Song says something, he's like, well, as beautiful as as my sister-in-law is, anyone could look after him. And so he was like, so you do know that he's my wife. And then he glances vaguely, at Chang Yang, and he's basically like, don't lay a finger on him. Don't even think about it. Don't dream of it. It's like, okay, sir, I see you. So then, we move to the final chapter, which, dang, that was very short. Yes, it was very short. Chapter 20 was very short, which I am glad because I don't know if I would have been able to finish it all last night. So, yes, Concubine Pan was intentionally helping them because a message was sent out. Let me make sure I go. Basically, they exchanged messages between each other, so it was like, oh, got it. So it worked out very well. Then we also have a little later, because Wan Chung, he wasn't feeling well again, but that's because he ate some cold grapes. And Qing Yu was just like, oh, yay! Okay. I've had a couple people tell me that before. And honestly, I've done that sometimes too. Like one of the podcasters that I listen to, sometimes I turn her on to help me sleep. And other times I turn her on to listen to the actual story. And then other times I turn her on to listen to the story and find out that I went to sleep somehow. So that's totally fine. But now you either have to go back or be like, oh, well. So I do that all the time. Sick from eating cold grapes. That man would not thrive in book club. And I was just like, dang, you ate some cold grapes from the well water and you got sick. But I just thought it was funny because Tingyu was just like, don't do things recklessly anymore or I'll stop caring for you. I was like, so you're admitting that you care for him? That was like, that was your roundabout way of doing it, but you did it. I just want to point that out to you, Tingyu. This is your first time admitting that you care in your way. So, very nice. Then we also learned that Xiao Song was interrogated overnight, which at first I was like, dang, all night long this guy was interrogated, but it's because he was being stubborn. But then his servant gave him away because his servant wasn't going to be stubborn. And then he tried to turn it around and smooth things over and was like, oh, well, no, but I was only doing like the innocent stuff with them. And he was like, them? Multiple? Look, all of my frozen grapes are gone and I'm kind of sad about it. So, yeah, he was like, all of them. So we slapped him and then he made him go reflect in the ancestral hall for a day and then he was confined for a month. And then his mom got confronted and berated because it was like, you're a poor excuse for a mother because you didn't raise your son right. So I guess she did raise incompetent children. It is what it is. Then we have, of course, Wan Chung. He has a fever again because of the grapes. And I guess I meant to say it was a fever specifically, not just feeling ill, but it was a fever. Which is why. Oh, you came back. We who read ahead giggled when frozen grapes became a thing on here. It's gonna stay a thing because I don't care. I don't care. He can figure his life out. It is pretty ironic how that came to be. Because I don't even know why I started eating frozen grapes during the live. And it started with this series, didn't it? Like did I don't know. Did, yes, it started. I started eating frozen grapes with this series. That's funny. I love that. I love that so much. I didn't even know. I'm sorry, Wan Chung, but at the same time, I'm not gonna stop now. Like it's a little bit too late. So then, da-da-da-da. Got it. So what we learn is that Wan Chung cannot eat cold food, which kind of sucks in general, like not even just the cold grapes, but. So anyway, we move on to Qingdao Pavilion. They have lots of courtesans there, but they don't get paid. And the extra money that Xiao Song was getting, he would be giving it to them, for whatever they did. But he don't have extra money. Not only that, he's in trouble. So it is what it is. And so if they don't get money, they're not going to be able to sustain themselves. So and then they'll be driven away. So basically, Chingu is like, well, we can keep about half of them. I think half of them's all right. Yeah, let's do that. So they now have to vie for Chiao Song's very picky favor, which we learn he's very, very picky. So we'll see how that goes or whatever. He's like, no, let him keep his courtesans. And of course, it's like, oh, that seems kind of too nice of you. You're not that nice of a person. So why are you doing that? Anyway, we move forward, and Qingyu has Huantong dig up some herbs that were buried previously under a tree, and they dry them, turn them into a powder for incense burner for the accountant, Zhang Shichuan. I don't know if that's important, but I just wanted to share that. So I shared it. And then we have, when checking Wan Chung's pulse when we move to a new scene, Wan Chung points out that he can smell the aromatics coming off of Qingyu and that it smells good. And he was like, you don't need to be anywhere near this. And he's like, is it poison? He don't get his answer, of course, but he deduces that it's poison. And then he's like asking, who is it for? Is it for Chiao Song? And yes. He's like, is it to have him die in the throes of passion when he sleeps with someone? I knew you were making an aphrodisiac. Like, is this your plan? And he's like, yep, this is my plan. And so he's like, Don't you think that's going just, I don't know, just a little too far? Just a little bit. And no, I'm sorry. Actually, it's Ting Yu who asks, "Do you think I'm going a little too far? You think I'm being unnecessarily cruel?" And Wan Chung is like, I mean, kinda, yeah." And then he's like, "Him dying would make me happy." Not only that, his words humiliated you too. So like, I'm doing this for the both of us. His death is our vindication, like not just mine, but yours. He said, "You can't satisfy me. Don't you feel some kind of way about this too? Don't you think he deserves to die? I mean, he won't die if he doesn't sleep with them. He has a chance to live. He just got to keep his pee pee in his pants." I was just like, yeah, okay. Okay, Chinyu, I see you. And so then he has his little thoughts, and he's just like, "Luan Chung, you were the one who understands me the best out of everybody. My parents are all nice and loving, and I've always hidden my dark side among everyone. Even Chong Yang, who I've traveled with forever, does not know about my freaking dark side." And so he's like, "But you are the only one who knows. Like, I don't have to hide around you. And not only that, you have encouraged me, okay, to do things and even told me that I look beautiful or I look pretty when I do these things. Now all of a sudden you want to say I'm being a little cruel?" He's like, "How dare you?" I was just like, he throwing a little fit in his head. He was like, "What right does he have to accuse me of being unnecessarily cruel?" But I love it. Because then Wan Chung is like laughing and he was like, I expected nothing less of you." And Lu Wan Chung is like, "That kind of sounds like praise." And then he says, "But," and Ting Yu, his face, it says, which had cleared, darkened again. Like he got praise and he was like, "Yay." And then he's like, "But," and he was like, "How dare Lu Wan Chung have any buts?" I was like, I don't know. How dare he have any butts? He should only have one, and it should have two T's instead of one. Is that what you're saying? So then he was like, "Next time you're doing bad things, let me join in, all right? I told you to enjoy it when you do them. I told you I enjoy it when you do them. All right?" And Chingy was like, "All right, deal." And that's how that chapter ended. And that was why I was like, well, I want to go to the next chapter because what mischief do they get into together? So that was all that we read. Here it is. And I thought it was all very good. All very, very good. And I'm going to close that. So we are on I am on page 241 out of 422. So that is 180 pages or so left in this one. And oh, right, I have volume 2, but it's in my bedroom on the bookshelf. So next time. What did I miss? Wendy M's asks, "Are you sure about that? Reconsider life choices in the same way when a sadistic person gives you a gift. Treat it like a nuke." For real. We do love a supported husband, sworn brother, and a supportive one. How dare you not love my beauty? He's like, how dare you encourage me to do these things and then have the nerve to say I'm going overboard? How dare you have any buts? You either in this or you ain't. And he was like, "I'm totally in this. Totally in this. Like, so in it, I want to join you next time. Like, just tell me when you're about to do something." And I was like, yeah, Qingyu, tell him when you're about to do something. Like, what were you thinking? Not sharing the mischief with him. So that was it for today. I think next time it is... Looking for my calendar. Looking for my calendar. Ah, yes. Monday, we are discussing chapters 21 through 25. And I was thinking about it the other day, y'all, because I changed the calendar. And instead of doing a chat on Monday the 23rd, I took that one off and put chapters 31 through 38 all on one day. I think that was a bad idea. So I'm going to change that back. But anyway, that'll probably just be in a weekly update or something like that of the live sessions. Because I was like, that's way too many chapters to talk about in one day. Because I feel like it takes so much time to talk about just five or so. So anyway, all the mischief. Yes, he can't admire the beauty if he isn't included, right? Because the beauty will be off scheming and he's left in the room by himself. He's like, you gotta let me in on the fun. Hello? And I agree. If I was Wan Chung, I would want to be in on the fun. Like, let me. What are we doing? Don't get stuck there. Can y'all still hear me? Because I just pulled on this thing and up, it looks like no. Yeah. Oopsie. Can y'all hear me? Oh, it's still working. Oh, good. Okay. Hearable. I'm glad I'm hearable. Why admire a beauty from far when you can be up front and center, personal? Exactly. Yeah, I had accidentally pulled on the cord that's going to my mic and I thought it like came out and I stuck it back in. So I was like, oh no, what has happened? But we're okay. So I think I don't have many updates, but I do have a couple. But I did not prepare them. So I'm going to stumble my way through this. The first thing that I want to say, no, the first thing that I want to ask, if you want to follow his way of thinking, the first thing that I want to ask is, hold on. I'm going to type it in the thing so you guys can just click your answer. Okay, I can't. I can't put the horse there. Yes or no? I'm asking because this is important. Because the last time when we were doing QJJ, for those who are reading it, I know people were like, we need possible but terrifying with the horse on a shirt. And so I'm just like, are we serious about this or are we just kidding around? Yes, with the horse in there. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what we're referring to, don't worry about it. But for those of you who do know, then just go ahead and put it. But yes, the horse has to be there. It has to. So I was just curious to who actually wants. Okay, I'm gonna end. You said you don't understand, but yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't even think you need the context to just like, you need the context to know why it would be funny, but you don't need the context to like take the expression for itself and roll with it. Like, possible, but terrifying. Like, yeah, possible, but terrifying. So I'm going to ask it again when we actually no, because that's a private reading session. I might just have to put the poll up in the actual YouTube group is what I'll have to do for those who are reading it. You said, but you do feel like you know the scene being referred to. Then probably yes. Yes. So and I ended that way too early. But anyway, I was just curious. So, again, like I said, we are meeting again on Monday to discuss chapters. You'll go for it. You would love to try and explain it to anybody who asks. Yes. Listen, all I have to do is find someone to design the shirt for me because I'm not a designer. But I was like, I think I'll probably like commission someone to design the shirt and then we could get it made. Because I would hate to just have the words possible but terrifying. And then I don't literally like the horse emoji. That would be lazy, I think. So If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, all the way. But we are discussing the next chapters, 21 through 25, on Monday. If you are on Patreon, if you are on the highest tier of Patreon, we are meeting this Saturday. Um, After this live session is over, I am going to create the link for Chinese New Year celebration. So you guys can go click it and notify me. So that way we can celebrate Spring Festival together. You get paid Friday. You'll buy it. Well, it doesn't exist yet. I have to figure out who I'm gonna get to to design it, because I don't want to just put regular words in a horse, like a random horse on there. I want a little bit of effort to actually go into it, which means I'll have to commission someone. So now I just got to find that person. But yeah, we are celebrating Chinese New Year. What else do I have to say? Giving a heads up. Okay. In March, due to reasons I don't really care to explain because they are personal, and I do get personal with y'all, but not everything has to be shared. Although you guys already know that March is hell for me, work wise, work with this, and something else just got added to my plate. I will be taking a week break in March. Typically speaking, I don't take a break this early in the year, but at some point I'm going to take a week break. When? Not 100% sure yet, but it's probably going to be mid-March is what I'm aiming for, but we'll see. Literally a week breaks, just not like Monday through Friday, but Sunday to Saturday. And depending on how things go, what I'll try to do, although I probably won't be successful because the month is so busy, is I will try to have content for you that is still going even when I'm on my break. Not sure if that's possible though, but I just kind of wanted to let y'all know about that in advance. So I know I'm going to have to say it again, probably in a different live stream or something, just so y'all know. But I do need to take a break in March for personal raisons. I think that is all. Yeah. So anyway, now that I've gotten through that, if you guys have anything y'all want to chat about, have any questions or anything like that, I'm leaving some room for it before we skedaddle and, do whatever we do with the rest of our day, or go to sleep if it's nighttime for you. You said, take your time, Mari. Do what you can. Yes. Thank you guys for always being so understanding. I appreciate it because, man, I'm telling you, I don't know how I'm going to survive in March. Will I survive? What if I get so stressed out while typing at my laptop and I'm complaining about something at work, and then I choke on a frozen grape and then I transmigrate? What if that happens? Then what? Then what? For anyone who has not been around since the beginning of the year, or I guess before, just letting you guys know, any requests that y'all make or want to make, just hold off for what y'all want me to read, because this year is full. Like it's already full. So any requests, I can't do them. You're gonna go get food. That's good. I'm hungry too. I'm gonna get food. Like, we're about to get off here because I'm hungry too. I didn't really consume everything that's on my plate. So, what book? What book would I like to be in? Well, about this, if I had to be in a book, it's gonna be a Donmei book, obviously. I would love to be in Thousand Autumns or Peerless. I guess I'll say Peerless. I would love to be in Peerless. That way I can get my Thousand Autumns too. Because it's around. I would want to be in Peerless, and I can go and find Yan Wushi and Shanqiao. um, but if not that, Honestly, I would love to be an SVSSS. No lie. I think I would have the time of my life in SVSSS. And I know there are lots of crazy monsters and craziness going around, but I'm here for it. So, like, just let me. A part of me would want to say QJJ just so I could lay my eyes upon the two main characters. But, like, it's a lot of craziness going on in that world that I don't want to deal with. So, no. So, yes, I would say Peerless because it's Thousand Autumns by proxy, you know? You said, we'll cry at your funeral and make fan art for your translator. Thank you. I appreciate it. But hopefully that doesn't happen. As much as sometimes I may think about it, hopefully it doesn't really happen. Who you want to be your boss? Mm, mm. I'm gonna. That's tough. I love Buchu, right? But do I want him to be my boss? Probably not. You know what? No, I'm gonna go with Buchu. I want my Choo Choo to be my boss. Yep, I'll work for him. Give him everything he needs. In fact, I'll even go ahead and replace um Xiao. What was her name? Xiao. Xiao Qian. I'll replace her. That's fine. And I won't ever betray him for any reason. You just want to look at Choo Choo every day, right? I'm like, can I just stay by your side and look at you? Because I genuinely think that he is so good looking. Like, oh my gosh. Who cares if he's sick? Like that's just a thing. We all get sick. He just got sick and stayed sick. So what? Like, he would be my boss. Um, but shoot, if I was in Peerless, I mean, if I was in SVSSS, then obviously, who would I want my Shitsuin to be? Well, if as a transmigrator, the other two transmigrators are there, then I would want to be Shun Yuan's disciple, you know. Yeah. But if he's not, then no. No Shun Qingqiu. Yeah, because I don't want to be on any other peak. I mean, why would I? Their peak has everything that I want. Focusing on the arts, literary arts, and all of that stuff, music playing. That's what I did living up. So boom, living up, growing up. I mean, I guess living up works. So that would work just fine for me. Feng Xian will deduct your wages if you stare at Choo Choo. You know what? The reason why I decided, well, one of the reasons I decided to go with Choo Choo is because I was like, Feng Chuan is so stingy with his money. I was like, he's gonna find every reason to dock my pay, and to because I remember Xiao Qian being like, "Is he so stingy with his money?" Da, 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 da. I was like, not only will I get to see Choo Choo and stare at him, I'm also going to be taken care of. Like I'm gonna be okay financially. A cup that fits so perfectly on the palm of your hand. What a beauty. Yes, but yeah, that's it, you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this live session. Sometimes I really do be like, are people really just gonna sit here and listen to me talk about chapters I read? I mean, we all read the same thing. All I'm doing is recap, but y'all be here. So thank you so much for being here. I mean, you just never know why people come and support someone else. So if I hadn't said thank you before, thank you to everyone who came into the live session today, whether you came late, came on time, came but had to leave, came, left, came back, wait, came, left, came back, left again. Doesn't matter. I appreciate every single one of you. Like, you really have no idea how much I appreciate you guys. And I'm just really looking forward to the day where I can invest more time into what I'm doing here again, not even just all things Danmei related, because you guys have heard of some of the things that I want to do that aren't Danmei related on my channel, but it's just hard to do those things with me having my job. And even though my job is part time, between the hours I take to do that, which is a lot of brain work, the hours I take to read and take notes, it's a lot. So I'm like, if I could just snip away a little bit more at my current job, that would be nice to give me more brain power because I enjoy this community that we've created, especially, well, in all of the places, but especially now that we have Discord, like just seeing the familiar names over and over again. I feel like we're really getting to know each other and it's really cool, We have this community, which I know for a lot of people when it comes to Danmei can be a little bit difficult because it's popular, but at the same time it's not, compared to other things. So thank you all so much. I just rambled all of that. Um, I appreciate every one of you. And if anyone wants to be commissioned to draw a horse for me, you can send me a message. Let me know how much you charge. No, I'm probably going to make an official post about it when I get there. But anyway, yeah, I hope you had a wonderful time here. We will see each other again on 星期一, which is Monday in Mandarin. You could also say 周一, which is just another way to say it, and one less syllable. You said thank you for your videos. You are most welcome, Jazz. You said I already loved listening to Kichter recap books, so it's like an extra fix on the book once it's done. This is now more books with an extra fix. So it's fun to be here. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So glad to hear that. I can't wait to watch their recap on this, but I'm just really trying to stay away from it because I don't want to be spoiled on anything. Like, I really, really don't. So I'm like, I just gotta wait. And then I'll go back and see what they say about it. Maybe they'll catch something I didn't, or just interesting to see a different perspective. So yeah, that's it. Have a great day or night. And or you saw them upload and it's killing me to hold off. Yeah. I'm sorry. I wish we could get through it like faster, but it takes a lot because I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to like find my footing with this, because like I've pretty much gotten my footing when it comes to recording sessions. I'm still getting my footing, but almost there when it comes to live readings. But the reviews that I started with The Wife Comes First, good night, have been a bit difficult. Like I'm trying to find the best way to do this, right? Because I'm like, do I need to write down every single detail that I come across? Or, should I recap the entire chapter or just talk about how I feel? Or like, am I saying too much or too little? Probably too much because I talk too much. It's been difficult. you know, I'm like, why is it taking this many hours to get through so few chapters? But anyway, I'll get there as we keep going. I am not going to do another false goodbye. Have a good day and or night. And I will see y'all on Monday. Well, I didn't even. Wait, I can't end it here. Wait, can I end it here? Let me see. Oh.